Finger slipped. And Magic's muted. You're muted, mate. Let me unmute you. I got you. Yeah, my finger slipped, but we can see all of the openers that we've got. Why not?
Yeah. But good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Hopefully you guys are all well. Had a good weekend. And if you're in the United States, hopefully you guys are safe this upcoming holiday. It seems like the ER is probably never any busier than it is this time of year with the 4th of July and people trying to light fireworks off in their hands. So be safe. Let's see. Who do we got in here? We had some people waiting. We'll mute that. Looks like we've got a few people. I've not seen Clement and Karen. Good morning. Javier, it's been a while. Grant, it's been a while. Goat, as always, hello. Caro, Richard, Alado. That dude is everywhere, past, present, and future. If you guys know, you know. Alado's lived many, many lives at this point. So good morning to all of you. Per the usual, you guys know we're going to cover Bitcoin, a little bit of order flow, open interest. I know that Max has been looking at some shit coins with some open interest techniques that we've been covering here and there. Alado used to own 5 fireworks stands back in the day. Of course he did. This guy has been a serial entrepreneur since the word existed. So it may actually have been his original name in a past life, and that's why it's called entrepreneurship now. So anyways, I'm going to jump into the charts. Max, you got anything you want to add before we do so?
Yes, because you always forget. We've got the 7-day free trial going on for the group. I'm posting the link now. Click that and you can join the group, watch all of everything we do, all the course that we've got, all the content that we put out for the members only for free for 7 days. So why not?
Who doesn't love free? So, all right, we'll hop into the charts and rock and roll. It's going to be a nice brief Monday. Bitcoin, by and large, is still just range bound. We kind of talked about this last week, especially in our group updates. We were actually looking for this right here. This was from the group update on, oh man, what day would that have been? Would have been a week ago. I was looking for this here. Basically looking for this, gray box, and then we want to take it back to the range highs. Okay, so it's a very, very simple idea, mainly because you had really easy invalidation down here. And you've now taken the low and you've come all the way back up to our next resistance or the range high. It doesn't matter how you're getting your range high, particularly some people prefer to use the volume profile, which is always acceptable. It's a very, very good tool. And we utilize it quite a bit as well. Used to utilize it almost exclusively, meaning that we went off that a lot. However, just identifying like liquidity and where stop losses are likely to be, also averages of price like pivots, gives you a nice area to work off of. So, did we know that this area was going to be taken? Not necessarily, but when we were looking for it, it would have been Sunday, actually. It would have been last Sunday, week and a day ago, looking for this move into this region. You had to be really patient, but what you got was a massive open interest decline into the level and then straight through and runs the range. And that's a really good trade. So if you're in that trade, which I am still in that position, obviously you want to make sure you've taken profits, but this is one now where you kind of have a risk-free trade where you can put your stop loss at entry or below the local low. And if you've paid yourself, let it run because you have targets above you still that aren't invalidated only because we don't have a sign of weakness yet. And so we should talk about what a sign of weakness will look like should we get it. The sign of weakness that you could be looking for, for me anyway, is going to be below about 29.4. Living below it, I think Max was talking about 29.180 something last night. And I would agree with that. It's part of this gray box for a reason. That is the Q1 high of this year, right? So before this April high up here at 31,069, you had 29.182. It was a big, big level for us as we were chopping around. And it remains a big level that if we can live above it, I would expect to see pressure onto the upside. And if that is to continue, you guys know that we are looking for the Q1 low, which has been a pretty sizable level for us for the better part of 6 to 9 months. We've had that identified. And then you have this local high right here from back in, I believe it was May. Yeah, where we bounced from 25K off that NPOC and then came all the way back up and formed this back test essentially of old resistance, right? So this would be the area I would be looking for as the next region of interest should we make the push. What would validate that is probably just living above, in my opinion, on a daily closing basis. You want to see a daily closure above there, and then you want to see open interest and buyers stepping in to support the move. You certainly don't want to see them stepping in and the price not going anywhere though either, because that could be signs that someone's trying to build a position and push it back down. But those are things you have to worry about in that moment. You just need to plan for in advance and know what you should be looking for. So if this can get flipped, you want to see it push into this area. And that's really the next major area. And I think everyone and their dog probably has this area mapped out at 32,392 to 32,903. I don't have ATAS up, but I did last night. It's also the closure of a small single print. So 32,900 is kind of a big area. And for me, if we get back above 32,900, I actually start to look at this a little bit differently from more of the lens of like a 24 and a 12-month window. For instance, this is your 24-month, and this would be 2022. These are some ATAS levels from just like the VAL and the TPOs. And you can see that they're by and large the same, but respecting the range really, really well, because this range did close about right here. You can see we've come up, back tested the point of control, TPO, POC, and now you're aiming for that value area high and the 6M1 in POC at 38,922, which has been a public target I've been giving for a while that, if this rally does really get out of hand, this is a pretty major inflection point. And it is represented not only in the 12-month data, but also in the closed off 24-month data here, where you can see that, well, we've got the value area low of essentially what we're trying to get back into right here at 28,825, just beneath the 29,182 area that we were just talking about as invalidation for if lost, things start to look a little different. And if we do lose this $29,000 area, you have to keep in mind that there is the Q3 pivot here. It's also your monthly pivot and your 60-day pivot, as June was just so exciting. It just panned out that way. But I really do start to shift my focus down to 28,000 and then 27,200, give or take, excuse me. And maybe even as low as 26,142, and then at that time, if you're not seeing, bounces, this starts to look like a failure to push at resistance. And then I'm actually looking for this to probably come down much lower. That's the real doomsday scenario that we're not actually trading for right now, because there's no reason to. There's been no sign of weakness. That first sign of weakness would be loss of the Q1 high, or if you were being more conservative, you could use the Q3 pivot and the value area low identified right here in blue. Now, what is this telling us? That our next major level, should we clear these little local highs here, is going to be 38,475 and 38,922 respectively. So the 24-month data is supporting the local data and the 12-month data, which I really like. So to me, that's always added confluence. And then what it tells us is if we can clear, just call it $40,000, you can see that 47, which is right in line with the yearly pivot from 2022, 47,707. You'd be looking for the TPO POC at 47,175, December NPOC at 49,039, and in between there you have the 2022 pivot. So you'd have like a little zone here that would be your next target. And as everyone knows, that is also, the fabled gold pocket that everyone is looking for, right? But it's always good to kind of know why you're looking for this area, and does it make sense with other tools and range tools specifically. So that is a really big high time frame overview for you guys. Really, I try to cover the ideas for swings for you guys quite a bit, mainly because these are trades that I've been sitting in since January. If you guys follow me on Twitter, the day I took the trade from 16.6, I announced that I wouldn't be closing it unless I was forced to. Obviously, price has not forced me to close that position. So I've been sitting in that position for 6 months. And eventually I did close my short from up here back in, March, April of 2022. I ended up closing my short down in this region as well, or over in this region, because price it made no more sense to hold the short. It wasn't going to do me any favors as a hedge anymore. So you take the profits, you get back into spot Bitcoin, and you enjoy the remainder of the move up potentially, right? So we're still looking to see what price is going to do up here. Would I say it's being indecisive? I favor upside because there's just been no sign of weakness up here just yet. However, you do have a swing fail at the top here. Back test of support was really, really good buy up. So you have a clear range to trade right now. However, if I'm taking longs at the bottom of the range, I am taking profits here, but I am still saying, this is the perfect position to tuck away a little bit and say, if I'm holding 20, 30, 40% of that original position, why wouldn't I put my stop loss at break even? Or if it's a really tight stop, just keep it where it is because I've already paid myself and let the position play out. And then it becomes a worry-free trade as well, so you guys can take the mental game out of it and you're not tinkering with it too much. Because I think that's where people get in trouble is they tinker quite a bit. So, yeah, that's all I've got on Bitcoin outside of some dates. I know you guys like dates. Everybody likes dates. If you guys recall, I have 3 days in mind for July. And this really is just based on the idea that just like before when we were making this giant range here, that if we were to make a similar time-based move, I would be looking for the distribution of last year, meaning that I want to see how long did it take us to make our 2022 high to our 2022 low. And then I want to expand this over. And you can see that puts us right here in the middle of July 17th. You do have some other key days coming in, right? So again, this is from your all-time high to your low, and then this would be from the COVID low to the overall high. And what you'll notice is they all kind of converge into this little time box right here between the 10th and the 23rd. So a little 2-week window there where I start to look at this and say, just like up here when we were looking for the reversal, I believe back at the end of February, was it a trend ending reversal? No, but it was a good spot to take profits and then look for a re-entry. I'm going to be looking at this similarly. I believe it's an inflection point from a time basis. And so I'll be watching it and monitoring it pretty carefully that if we get signs of reversal specifically, I'll be looking to hedge the opposite way for hopefully a decent drawdown, right? So just kind of depends on what we get going into that. Maybe it ends up being a nothing burger and I don't get to trade any of that analysis, but it doesn't hurt me to do the analysis and at least have a plan in mind if we're going to get that move. So it has been 12 minutes and 25 seconds. So 15 of you guys in here, thank you. If you guys haven't hit the like button, please do. Unless you think this is not good analysis, you can always hit the thumbs down button. I'm going to turn it over to Max if he's prepared as I finish off my morning kind of like fruit salad. For anyone that's wondering, this is a chopped up apple and serrano pepper and cucumber with lime juice in there. And I got turned on to this from TikTok. And it's delicious. I probably am going to eat that every day this summer. So,
Magic loves the TikTok.
I do. Air fryer recipes and meal prep.
Okay, then let's get into it. So, Bitcoin. Yesterday, I gave on the members stream, which was about 11 o'clock. So we were here. I gave 3 levels that for me in this tight consolidation that we are currently in up here, which is this section of the chart. So, since 21st of June, that we're in a pretty tight consolidation. The range value area high is at 30,766. We now have the Q3 open, the month of July open. Really important level. Definitely get that one on your chart, and the range value area low. These 3 levels locally for me are the most important. If we zoom out and look at this range from a open interest standpoint, I said this last night and I will say it again now for the people that aren't in the group. We really get there's really no source in looking at the open interest during this range. Sometimes you get it where you can see, okay, you had a huge increase in this section of the chart. You didn't in this section chart. So that this bit's going to be more support than that one. But in this local little range that we've got, really could go either way from an open interest standpoint, really could. The one thing I will mention is we've clearly had a big open interest drop on the move to the downside. Maybe that's foreshadowing that we get an open interest drop towards the upside and wreck the shorts as we have the longs. Potentially where I'm thinking, that's potentially what I'm thinking. It means I'm in line with Magic's view of going higher. So the fact we have had that wash out to the downside, typically you go and wash out the opposing side. But yeah, for me, the really key levels are the range value area high at 30,750-ish. quarter three open and range value area low. Now, the region which Magic mentioned at 29,200 to 29,150, the reason that is so key is because if you, it's a bit laggy when I've zoomed out this much, but effectively since we came up here, if you combine all of the days and put them into a fixed range, pull effectively, the value area high is at that region. What happens when you deviate a range and make it your way back into it? Typically, you go to the point of control and sometimes you cycle it. And it's all at that level. You've got 29,150 for the value area high. And the point of control for TPO and volume is both down at 28K. So if you make your way back into that, it's very likely that you do go and hit that 28K, which is $1,000 move, which is what we're all chasing, $1,000 moves. So really easy trade if you do find acceptance back in there, but it won't look good. It really won't look good for Bitcoin. But yeah, locally, not really got too much source other than the fact that today we have just been doing these really shitty SFPs. They've really not been that good from an open interest standpoint. There's not been any really clear signs that you want to take these trades, these SFPs, other than the fact that you could argue you are changing market structure a little bit just after them. But for me, I think the longs, you really have to wait for it to come up with come down to the Q3 open, come down to the gold pocket from this drop, come down to there, maybe reclaim the quarter three open, arguably trade it as an SFP from here, but you just got to be cautious that you don't reject from the quarter three open and then get a bounce from there. But right now locally, we are getting some increases in open interest up here. And if we are living above the increases in open interest, there is no reason that we can't come up higher. And we've got some pretty nice highs up here. We didn't really collect the liquidity when we came up this morning, here or here. SFP at there. So, we didn't really collect the liquidity. So there is going to be quite a bit of liquidity up at 30,800, just above that region. And the fact we are getting some really weird increases in open interest, if I go here and we can look at it, as long as we're living above them, arguably the VWAP at this point, why not test higher? Why not? Because when you have increases, huge increases in open interest, this is 0.6%. Increase on Binance, which is the biggest one. When you've got that and you're living above it, you have to think of the trap traders that are in positions right now short in this candle, because when you have increased in open interest, it's longs and shorts. And when you're living above here, even though the delta was positive and it pretty much fell back on it, while we're living above here, there are the trap shorts locked in that trade, which we haven't squeezed out yet. There's not really been any big decreases in open interest. So why not test higher? We do have actually a Dalton in play today, I believe, on Binance. Anyway, I've not checked it on Bybit, but on Binance we do. So you can see the weekly open is the day open, and it's above the previously value area high. We've not on Bybit. Magic says okay, but on Binance we do. So, I don't know the data whether it's comparable, but we do have a Dalton on Binance. And I don't think at this point that it's actually confirmed with the 2 30-minute candles below. Actually, let's check. Where it is actually, I need to go here. Where is the value area high? It's up at 30,680. Oh, I'm on Bybit here, so it's not really the same. Let's have a look anyway. Let me go 30,006. Was it 680? Was it? Double check. Yeah, 608. Come on, Max, you retard. 608. No, you've not had 2 candle closes below it. No, you've not. Yeah, so not confirmed, but bounce from previously value area high. Typical things. So whether we come up, take these highs, or then do go and nuke it and complete the Dalton. That's typically what happens when you get these Daltons nowadays. But yeah, you have got that in place. So be cautious if you are taking longs. I would be taking profits early, especially if we came into this region, because you could very easily SFP it and then come down and come to those lower targets, which we gave. Pretty much Bitcoin for me. Shorts from up here. This is where I'll be looking for shorts. Longs down here, maybe the Q3 open. Very cautious if we do lose this current range value area low. Would be looking for, if we lost it and then rejected from it, potential short from there as well to just to hedge hedge the accounts. So, that's what I'd be looking for in this range. But yeah, if you lose this, you're probably going to head down to here, and you don't really want to be losing that because then you're probably going to go to 28K. That's it for Bitcoin. And then for the people that are in the members group, we were, where was it, 11 o'clock here. And I was calling out comp. Been really bullish this past few days. Magic gave, he did his high time frame analysis on comp yesterday on the members stream. But I have to say, right now, it's not looking too good. It's had what I would effectively say is the blow off top. I don't know whether that's the word for it. But you've had enough signals to warrant a reversal. You've had a huge volume spike, a very large decrease in open interest, even though it goes up and goes down. This is typically happens on shitcoins. You just have a load of buyers trying to push the price up, and then it liquidates a load of people. The buyers have taken profits effectively as they've pushed it to trigger the stop losses, and then it has a huge decrease. And this is that wick there. We're on the 1 minute chart, and that is let's check how big that wick is. Let's check how big the candle is. I didn't even click. An 8% candle. When you get that type of thing, typically it's not a good sign if you are expecting higher. It doesn't mean that the entire move is over, but that is certainly a reversal signal if I've ever seen one. Huge wick, huge candle, 1 minute, drop in open interest, volume spike. These are all the reversal signals that you can kind of expect. And then, that for me is warrants. Maybe don't take a trade on this. Just wait for it to try and pick up its trend again, because the trend was so strong. If you were trading the strategy that we gave on the open interest video, trying to get in an SFPs, you get in, and this has been a pretty bullish coin for the past few days. Pretty much all of last week it was very bullish. So really nice trading, but I would be cautious with it now. But if you were watching the member stream, you could have probably got in for the last little section on that, as we were expecting higher. Other shit coins that I'm quite liking the look of, I guess. Pepe is bullish again. Bullish with very nice increase in open interest. Kind of had a blow off top. Kind of not. Okay, so this is Pepe, so it's very volatile. It's had a big wick. Okay, it has had a big wick. I will acknowledge that. It has had a volume spike, but it's not had the open interest drop. So there is still, let me hide the swing point to liquidity indicator. Considering how big the increase in open interest has been with this mini uptrend since today, I guess, or can we go back further? Today's been very bullish, but it has been increasing quite a bit with this uptrend. So we can expect it to continue, because during this price action, there is a ton of trapped shorts. Okay, open interest, again, is a sum of longs and shorts. We've got 92 million Pepe locked into positions, and all the shorts that have entered here. Let's just have a look at how many shorts have entered. This is actually a bit below. So, almost a 60%. Go from here. Yeah, we'll say 60, almost a 60% increase in open interest on this asset today. Insane amounts of increase in open interest. And when you have that and you're in an uptrend, all of the people that are stuck on the opposing side of that trend in shorts, because the open interest has only been increasing, it's not been a short squeeze, we can expect a short squeeze. What you need to be cautious of is if price then loses boxes such as this consolidation, arguably this miniature consolidation, because then you flip the script. You've not got the shorts trapped, you've then got the longs trapped. But how can we trade it? Well, we can trade it using looking for SFPs. If you want to use the swing point to liquidity thing, you look at see where the liquidity is coming at. So you can see just here we've got 87 million Pepe, not dollars, I don't think. Yeah, Pepe at this point. So likely to get swept, knock out some positions that put their stop losses at the low of their entry, and we can kind of expect this trend to continue, but with some caution on this one, purely just because of how big this candle was. It wasn't quite as big as comps. Let's have a look at it actually. Yep. Oh, chat shit, I think it is. I've just moved it. What a rookie. 7%. It's the main thing is the fact you've not had that drop in open interest, which makes me want price to continue up higher. So yeah, the way that I'm trading it, I will be looking for SFPs of the lows and then going in line with the trend. Okay, until I see that drop in open interest, similar to what you had on comp earlier hours of this morning. So the comp has been really good all week, but then you had this huge wick, not a massive drop in open interest, granted, but a significant one. And the volume spike was huge as well. You know that there's a lot of stop losses got hit there. So yeah, kind of expecting that on Pepe for it to continue a touch higher, getting at some SFPs, and then, really, I'm not going to talk about targets on this. I just lock out as you take highs and what have you. And if you get an open interest drop, you can close out the position. But yeah, Pepe is the one that I'm watching for today. Not so much comp until it starts to turn around on its open interest, because it's just kind of fading its way back down. There's no point trying to trade it when it's just looking pretty weak, and not weak as such, but it's had its reversal signals. So yeah, Pepe looking for, comp no longer looking for until it shows a little bit more strength. Bitcoin I've gone over. I'm done. I've not really got too much else to go over. We're coming to the range highs now on Bitcoin. But yeah, I'm done, Magic.
That was fast. Actually, you talked longer than I did.
I said I wouldn't talk.
I know. But yeah, it's about 30 minutes. I don't really think there's much else I need to go over. One thing I do want to just peek at on my screen before we go, just to see if maybe I want to share it. No, not really. I guess we can talk DXY. We can talk DXY a little bit. The Dixie. If you guys recall, we had this level here, and I talked about the potential for doing something like this. If it puts in that lower high, you've got the flat bottom of support, and you're putting another lower high and another lower high, and you guys can kind of see what this looks like, right? So keeping an eye on the DXY, mainly because it has to get back above the 103.82 mark, which is your 2017 high. April high is probably irrelevant at this point, even though it is getting a little bit of play here. It was relevant earlier, but what you'll notice is this is attempting to put in a higher low, meaning that if we can then get up and claim this level, you can start making that push, right? So you got to be wary of that. However, if this rolls back over and takes this low out, then you're looking for something like this back to the bottom, and you play the game of, is this going to be support again and bounce for the dollar, or does it come down eventually and take out the local low and head to, my target would be like 96. If price does break below that local low here, this flat bottom of support, that's where I'd be looking to. So otherwise, pretty neutral on the dollar, but slightly leaning bearish until it does give us a sign of strength and validate this lower high, in which case then you'd be looking at this completely differently, and you'd be looking at it as a higher low instead of a lower high. So you do have an inflection point coming here. It'd be very interesting to see what happens, and I'm sure it's going to coincide with whatever Bitcoin's doing, meaning that if Bitcoin is pushing, I doubt the US dollar is pushing up like this, whereas if Bitcoin is falling, that could be the case. But if this is rolling over, that's where we can see Bitcoin make that 32K, jump. And if it gets above 32, then we can start speculating on $40,000 almost, it was a lot of fun. So it will be interesting to see what this thing wants to do. Oh, I did have a triangle for this already. It's been a few weeks, guys, so we haven't looked at this in a little while. So that's it for the DXY. So that's your US dollar index. I don't see any questions, and it looks like there's only 16 of you in here today. So kind of a slow Monday for us on the stream. Normally we get 20 to 30, but I appreciate all 16 of you that are here. And the like ratio is good. We got 22, meaning that people have just kind of been dipping in and out, which is always okay. But if you guys have any questions, there is a link to the group down in the description, or you can go to leadingcrypto.io and like and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next